This is Nigeria today. We're in the nation's capital where President MUHAMMADU Buhari has now signed an executive order that will ensure the implementation of the National Public Building Maintenance Policy, which he says will create jobs and grow the economy. The signing of the document preceded the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting held at the Council Chambers of the State House in Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari signs Executive Order 11. This is the first time any government in Nigeria will make maintenance a national policy. The president says this critical policy will create jobs for small businesses, skilled laborers and artisans in the country. He also urged states and local governments to adopt this policy and begin to see maintenance as not just a culture, but a conscious driver of economic growth.
While it is true that our economy has been diversified and the non-oil sector is leading in terms of contribution to the gross domestic product, the maintenance and facility management component of the services sector is an opportunity that is waiting to be maximized. It is my hope that this order will open the door to this treasure of opportunities for young technicians, for artisans, for vendors and suppliers, and for small businesses and cottage industries.
Already the impact of this maintenance policy will be felt at the new international terminals in Abuja and Port Harcourt, as the Federal Executive Council approved a contract to maintain the terminal buildings for 3 years.
The government has put up a program in place to ensure that all infrastructure is being maintained, and so that they will remain as they are, perhaps even more improved with regular maintenance. So in this case, it's for 2 terminal buildings, and for the total sum of 5,653,341,729.07 naira.
The Federal Executive Council approved the establishment of 12 private universities. Also, the Ministry of Works and Housing got approval for the award of contract of the Kefi Nasarawa Total Road for the sum of 36.1 billion naira. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
We'd like to warn that some images in this next report may be disturbing, and viewers' discretion is strongly advised. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has confirmed the attack on a military base in BENIN, that's in Kaduna State, but insists it was repelled and that the terrorists suffered heavy casualty. This is the first time a relevant authority will speak on the incident after it was reported that about 10 soldiers were killed and several others injured in the attack. The Minister of Information says there is no cause to think the government is overwhelmed by the security situation in the country, and that the military has recently recorded tremendous success in the war against terrorists as their camps collapse under the impact of superior military power.
On a military base in Kaduna State, but what was not reported was the very timely and efficient manner it was repelled, and the huge casualties suffered by the bandits terrorists. This is an asymmetrical war in which we are not at liberty.
In Edo State, the Special Intelligence Team of the Commandant General, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Abubakar Aldi, has uncovered a illegal oil depot in Ahor village along the Benin-Lagos highway. The illegal oil depot, which specializes in diesel adulteration, was discovered following an intelligence report that prompted the officers of the Corps to storm the area. The public relations officer, NSCDC Edo Command, Ifeanyi Okowa, who accompanied the officers on the raid, says over 15 trucks loaded with products were impounded while some of the suspects were arrested. He also added that 10 trucks containing 45,000 liters product suspected to be diesel have been confiscated. Mr. Okowa also warned security agents who may be allegedly involved in providing cover for the suspect to desist from such act. To court matters now, Justice Taiwo of the Federal High Court Abuja has shifted judgment on a suit by the People's Democratic Party against Governor BOTANICAL of Cross River State and his deputy Vare Jemotesu to the 7th of April. By the suit, the plaintiff wants the court to order Governor AHOR and his deputy to vacate their seats, having defected from the PDP to the APC. Celestina Area reports.
The People's Democratic Party predicated this suit on the fact that Senator AHOR and his deputy, presently members of the APC, did not win the 9th March 2019 governorship election in Cross River State, having defected to the APC. At the resumed proceedings, which was judgment, the trial judge announced that the lead counsel in the matter should address the court on the implication of the recent judgment of the Court of Appeal Enugu Division in respect to the defection of Governor David Umahi and his deputy from the PDP to the APC. Counsel to the PDP said the prayers of Governor Umahi at the Abakaliki High Court were different from what the PDP are seeking at the Federal High Court Abuja. On his part, counsel to Governor AHOR told the court that the case decided at the Court of Appeal Enugu Division is same with the instant case at the Federal High Court Abuja. The entire case boils down to defection, and the issue is whether a governor and his deputy, after being sworn in, can be removed from office. The court fixed tomorrow, April 7th, for judgment.
Defection is not one of the reasons stipulated in the Constitution for removing a governor. A governor defecting is exercising his constitutional right under Section 40 of the Constitution, freedom of association, freedom of assembly.
The All Progressives Congress is of a firm view that a governor or his deputy who defected from one political party to another cannot be removed from office by the court except by the State House of Assembly. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
Also, the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the government to comply with the 35% affirmative action for women. Delivering judgment earlier today, Justice Donatus Okorowo said the federal government had the obligation to implement the 35% affirmative action, accusing past governments of acting in breach of international treaties on women participation in government. Justice Okorowo added that the national gender policy is not merely a policy statement, but one that must be backed with requisite action on the part of government. He said the 35% affirmative action, which entails appointive positions for women to ensure inclusivity, must not be merely on paper, as Nigeria is signatory to international treaties, particularly on those entrenching the rights of women. And the former British High Commissioner to Nigeria has led a business delegation to have a robust discussion with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja. The essence is to encourage investment into Nigeria, as Paul Arkwright believes the country is a wonderful place to invest. Olawako reports.
According to available statistics, direct foreign investment into Nigeria is projected to trend around $900 million in 2022 and $860 million in 2023. But many factors ranging from security challenge, infrastructure, and some economic indices have been a stumbling block. A business delegation led by former British High Commissioner in Nigeria, Paul Arkwright, has met with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu to encourage investment into the country.
We talked about a wide range of subjects, obviously from the economy, the importance of bringing investors into Nigeria. I still firmly believe that Nigeria is a wonderful place to come and invest. So part of my role now is to encourage British and international investors to come in.
He identifies the areas that require huge foreign investment that will boost national growth.
Power is very key. The importance of electricity, His Excellency was talking about that. I absolutely agree. Agriculture, communication, education, healthcare, really critical in this time just after the pandemic, or while we're still, in fact, going through the pandemic. So there's a wide range and a lot of expertise in the UK and in Europe, which can help Nigeria recover from the pandemic.
Given the incessant killings by bandits and terrorists in some parts of the country, Mr. Arkwright points out that security challenges need to be tackled to the barest minimum to encourage investors.
It's worrying. It is putting off investors, so investors are worried and concerned about that. And I do think, I know that the government is doing its best to tackle that. I know there's new investments going into equipment, investment, training of military and police. And I think that's very, very important, because without security, you're not going to get investors coming here.
The meeting is expected to yield a result that will bring positive turnaround to the country and further strengthen the existing bilateral relations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. Ola Awakon, TVC News, Abuja.
We'll take a break now and return with more stories. Stay with us. You're watching Nigeria Today. Now let's tell you that Nigerians can now have a sigh of relief as the federal government has lifted the ban on midnight curfew, crowd restriction at weddings, concerts and others. This latest directive is coming from the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19. The committee says it arrived at the decision after a careful review of the country's response to the pandemic in view of the declining number of cases. Other reasons put forward by the committee include reduced risk of importation of new variants, the availability of vaccines, and the increasing number of people vaccinated in Nigeria and globally. The government said the social restriction recommendations were revised in line with 3 established thematic areas, which are movement, industry and labor, as well as community activities. In other news, Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa wants safety on the roads to be treated as national emergency to reduce the needless deaths that come from avoidable accidents. The governor spoke at the passing out parade of over 600 Marshal inspectors at the Marshal Inspectorate Training School. Ikena reports.
With an alarming statistics of more than 6,000 deaths from road crashes in 2021 resulting from speed violations, wrongful and dangerous overtaking, distraction and other avoidable bad behaviors of drivers and road users, safety on Nigerian roads should be of utmost priority to reverse this high number. At the maiden passing out parade of over 600 road marshal assistant drivers at the Marshal Inspectorate Training School of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Owa-Alero, Delta State Governor called for more attention to safety on the roads to avoid needless deaths.
The issue of road safety should be treated as a national emergency. There are just too many people dying from avoidable road accidents. I believe that as a first step to drastically reduce the number of accidents on our roads, public enlightenment is crucial. I dare say that most drivers on our roads, commercial and private, are not conversant with road signs and safe driving habits.
The governor, while commending the Corps for its initiatives in management of traffic and safety on the roads, urges them to do more enlightenment for Nigerians to imbibe a culture of safe driving.
The Federal Road Safety Corps must, as a matter of exigency, continue to educate Nigerians and continuously ensure that they are taught the meaning of road signs, the importance of observing them, and the need for them to regularly service and maintain their vehicle. For it to be effective, the enlightenment campaign should not be done on ad hoc basis. It should be part and parcel of the daily activities of the agency.
With sustained effort in improving the standard of roads in the country, attitude of road users is expected to receive complementing attention in order to guarantee desired results. These 9 trainees were awarded for their outstanding performance in the 6 months course here. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Owa-Alero, Delta State.
And staying in the Niger Delta region, with the South-South Youth Initiative has issued a 2-month ultimatum to the Rivers State government to address the rate of unemployment and the plight of retirees. The group, which is also threatening to embark on a protest, says life has been hard for many young people and senior citizens in the state. Okoro reports.
It's been all about partisan politics throughout the 7 years of the incumbent administration. This group laments. They insist that the state has not enjoyed the dividends of democracy in many sectors of the economy, like agriculture, and that human capacity development through education has also declined significantly with the absence of state-awarded scholarships and financial support to students. For them, the rate of unemployment among the youth is also another cause for alarm and should be addressed within the next 2 months.
We believe that the 5,000 jobs the governor promised Rivers people during his first tenure campaign is no longer enough for the state. We need 6,000 jobs, 60,000 jobs to be created by the state government from now to the next 2 months. This will cushion the effect of unemployment that is already bedeviling the state. We could have asked for more than that, considering the number of years the administration has been in place without creating jobs.
While the younger generation clamors for the government to create jobs, thousands of retirees and pensioners in the state claim they are being owed more than 100 billion naira in gratuities and pensions. They explain that the situation has left many of them homeless and their health deteriorating, while hundreds have died from the suffering.
Somebody that retired in 2016 was not placed on monthly pension up to 2019, June 2019. And so that attracted arrears of pension, which is outstanding up to this day. Nobody has been paid gratuity in this state for the past 7 years. Nobody has been paid gratuity.
This is my 20 years of widowhood. You can imagine how I've been catering for my children alone and living in a rented apartment.
Based on all their concerns raised about the performance of the current administration in Rivers State, the group also called on the governor to reconsider his presidential ambition until all their demands are met. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
In Ondo, members of Muslim community in the state have kicked against the plan by the state government to return some schools to faith-based organizations. They made their position known at a press briefing held at the Nigerian Union of Journalists Press Center in Akure. But the state government says its doors are opened for talks. Dejim Radio reports.
These are members of Muslim community in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria.
But you believe
they are here to voice their anger over the plan by the state government to return some schools to the original owners. The secretary of the League of Imams and Afars in the state, Abdurrashid Akirili, who spoke on their behalf, said returning schools to the missionaries is totally wrong and uncalled for. Akirili said returning schools to faith-based organizations will affect development of education in the state.
On the state government, for the sake of posterity, the unborn generation, the development of the state, and even for the sake of the traumatized and improvised masses, should not return school to LBO. Returning of schools to LBOs will be the fraud of the century, because this is simply handing over of public property to private business-oriented individuals in the name of LBO.
The group threatened to drag the state government to court if it fails to rescind its decision.
It is in the part of this speech, the next step to be taken if government peradventure refuses to listen to us. Let them read the address very well. We are very sure that government will listen, because it is not the Christian alone, the LBO alone that has the school that are returning to the FBO.
The state government, through the State Commissioner for Information, Donald Ojogo, said the current administration is the most friendly to Muslim community.
It is not averse to going to court. Government is not also foreclosing pre-litigation engagements. Government will not be tired of explaining to people why certain actions are taken. So maybe it could be as a result of request from that Christian community. Government has not insisted that that will be the only decision in respect of handing over schools to people. If any Muslim community that makes request, consideration could be given based on the merits of the cases or the case that is presented before government.
The Muslim community says it will continue to appeal to the state government to rescind its decision in the best interest of the people of the state. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News, Akure.
Some schools in Lagos now have mini botanical gardens that will serve as a learning resource to expose the students to plant diversity, horticulture and conservation. And this is coming as the Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency handed over 6 gardens to 6 public schools to enable school children become active participants in the protection of the environment. Esther Mokwariola has details.
There are increasing concerns on the changing climate, even as it threatens lives and livelihoods of many living in vulnerable communities, particularly in developing countries. But tree planting has been identified as the best defense mechanism to slow down the wheel of climate change. In line with this, the Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency established mini botanical gardens in 6 public schools as rewards for the school children's participation in the year 2021 Tree Planting Day activities.
UNESCO has a target to ensure that environmental education is incorporated into school curriculums all over the world by 2025. And this is a small step, but a big step. Where with them, we're not just going to dump it on them. You know, it's our baby, even though it's within the school premises. So we're going to ensure that in another year, 2 years, we come back, the garden is thriving and thriving very well.
And these children will begin to learn that their environment is very important to them, and they have to plant trees to protect their environment.
While the initiative is also geared towards restoring the country's forest cover from less than 8% to about 25%,
students, please help me celebrate
the recipients of the botanical gardens say they will do everything possible to nurture and protect it.
Even if water is not around, if this place is dry, we can always put the hose inside our tap there and make sure that this place is ever fresh and green.
And most of the time when we are teaching, I can easily bring them to this place. This one will serve as my instructional material for the student to see it physically.
It's very important, especially for the science students, because it will help them in not only biology but also agricultural science.
We will get to school early in the morning to nurture it, to water the plants and to make it grow.
The mini botanical gardens, which consist varieties of trees, shrubs and plants, is also expected to complement activities of the Environmental Bees Club initiative by the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources. Esther Mokwariola, TVC News, Lagos.
And that's Nigeria Today.